Evan. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, comment anything interesting, anything you want to say, questions, anything, and also don't forget to like the video. So I've covered the goats, the beef cattle. I touched on the beef cattle a little bit. Today I'm going to show what it takes to feed the steers. So I kicked the high moisture silo on. We are feeding high moisture corn. We got high moisture corn flowing out of the silo, and then right directly behind that we have a small pile of dried distillers. So to start off with, we're going to feed the little groups on the east side of the road. I need about a half a scoop of the ground feed and distillers. Kind of mix it a little bit, and then we'll have to go down and get some silage, and we'll mix it all up and dump it in. So we got about half a scoop of ground feed and distillers. I need approximately 3 scoops worth. Take a scoop behind the house, a scoop to this yard, and then between the beef cows and the small group of steers on the other side of the barn, about a small scoop. So we need about 3. That's about half. So I need probably about 2 more scoops of silage. I'll dump it on top, and then we'll mix it up. So I mix the feed up just with the loader. Just kind of scoop it up and dump it 5-6 times, you know, whatever it takes to get it mixed up pretty good. So now I'm gonna dump about a scoop. I got a small scoop on. It looks like they got a bunch left here. So we're gonna dump that in all the way across, and then we'll head to the behind the house with the scoop, and then over by the road. Shake a little bit off for the cows, and dump a bunch over for the steers then. bit tight corners in here, but we make it work. It'll be a good job for the skid loader though, that's for sure. So now we're going to feed across the road. If you've been watching my last handful of videos, you probably know that we're hauling feed across the road with the mixer wagon. The pit silo we're feeding out of right now is on the east side of the road, and then right now we're on the west side of the road, across the road, and we got, I think there's about 70 to 80 in this group. So it just takes a lot to haul feed around. I don't know what he's 3-4 scoops a day. So what we've been doing every other day, loading up the mixer, I bring it around up top and dump it down into the pit. Now it does dry up on top, but usually underneath it's just fine. It's just every other day. It's not sitting here, you know, a week or anything. I'm not sure if I'll have to do this today or tomorrow. So we'll see what they got left for feed, and then if we need to, we'll probably load up the mixer tomorrow morning. But we'll see where we're at when we get done feeding today. So Dad told me about 3 to 4 scoops. I just dumped 3 in. They're up to eat, but they don't seem like they're really hungry. We try and make sure they have feed pretty well all night, but we like to have the mangers pretty well empty in the morning. I think I'm gonna get at least the small half. Just dump another small half in. So the problem is when Dad gives directions on how much to feed, you know, he'll say like, you know, 4 scoops in the morning, you know, stuff like that. And I think they always try and trick me, because I'll dump 4 scoops in for 3 days straight, and they'll have it licked clean in the morning and be hungry. And then I add more, and the next morning it's the same thing. It's licked clean and they're hungry. And I add more, and the next morning they're licked clean and hungry. Usually if my parents take off a week, it takes me about the entire week to get this group figured out. And the little groups, they're the opposite. They don't seem to eat everything. There's always a lot left. And then I gotta figure out how to adjust it so that they eat everything. They just try and mess me up. If anybody's wondering how that drive-through gate works, take two. Maybe I will put the bucket down. The wind is kind of messing with them this morning, and maybe the spring's got to get tightened up a little. But basically, you just drive through it real slow. And then they swing back, and they swing. They should be about right in the middle, but that is what it is. So now, normally, we'd be filling up the mixer and feeding the steers down the road by my grandpa. So yesterday morning they had a little bit of feed left, so we skipped them in the morning. We like to keep the mangers cleaned out in a way. You don't want the feed to sit in there too long. So we skipped them in the morning. I went up at night. They didn't have a lot, so I did load up last night. I took some down. I should have filmed it. I thought about it, but I was tired by the end of the day, and I just wanted to get it done. But between this afternoon and tomorrow, I will show how that gets done. So there's not a lot of feed here yet. Maybe a good scoop. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Maybe I'll mix up a batch and bring it over here. I guess we'll see how everybody eats. So yeah, we're gonna close this up. And we'll jump in the truck and run down there and look them over, see what they got left. I fed them last night, so I don't know. There's probably about half as much left. So, whoop! Stupid cat almost got hit on the road. So yeah, close this up and we'll run down there. So there's not a lot, but there's a bunch, so I'll probably check them this afternoon, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do then. Hey guys, it's currently about 3:30 in the afternoon now. I drove up the road, looked at the steers earlier this afternoon, and they're pretty empty. So my plan is I'm gonna put a big load on the mixer. My plan is to get them through tomorrow till the next morning. Just because we always feed in the morning, it's kind of getting a little screwed up. So I figure about 7 scoops should give. I took them up about 5 last night. It's cleaned out about now, so if I put another 2 on, hopefully that'll get them through the night. But I'll probably check them again anyways. And I also think I can only get about 7 on. I can only get about 7 in the mangers, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. First thing we got to do, we're gonna move this up to about here, and that way I can bring the silage up, and then I get the corn, and it's all kind of right here and ready to load. So we got to start this up and pull it ahead. So we let it mix a little while. It's probably been mixing long enough. So pull up here. I usually drop her down. It usually spills out right when you open the door. It spills out pretty fast. There's probably a decent pile there. Oh, I better get going. They're hungry. We'll start PTO. I usually run it about around 300 RPM, and then I got it on lever number 1 here. You push it and it opens the door. About empty now, so we'll shut the PTO off, idle it back. This tractor, I gotta release the brake, otherwise it slams to a stop. You gotta hold that button down for a few seconds, and then it kind of coasts to a stop. Usually about there, I'll let it off, and then we'll shut the door. Door's shut, and then I make a loop here and head home. So that's about what it takes to feed steers, I guess. Tomorrow morning, I mean, I'll check these guys again, probably tomorrow morning again, and across the road I might end up hauling feed over with this. We'll see what it comes down to. There's a little bit over there, so we'll see. I might even just take a scoop over with the loader if I'm gonna have enough. And you know, all the amounts and directions and stuff, that all changes pretty well weekly. Like, I don't know if I talk too much with these guys. So, I mean, even daily sometimes, especially up here. Sometimes they eat it all, and the next day they won't. And you know, it all has to do with the weather and all that. Sometimes you gotta, you know, cut them back a couple, and sometimes you gotta add a couple, and it's not the most scientific way of feeding. And I'd like to, I've said this before, I'd like to get a set ration in, figure out you know, how much of each material or feed stuff we should be dumping in, and you know, see how accurate we are with our feed quality and stuff like that. For now, I mean, we're going with it. I'd like to, there is a scale on this thing, and I'd like to maybe figure it out if it still works or not. Like I said before, it changes pretty frequently. Especially these little groups, they might not eat a whole lot that first week, and then they're going to be eating more, and then you just keep adding more until you get it all figured out. Usually it's about a scoop. He doesn't feed much more than a scoop in these little yards. Across the road, I mean, that could be anywhere from 3 to 5, and if we really have it full, we might even feed at night, depending on how our feeder space is. But yeah, I'd like to maybe consult with someone, figure out you know, if what we're feeding is good enough, or if we should be adding something, or you know, trying to get the most out of the feed. I know there are guys out there that feed haylage. I could never feed haylage, to be honest. If I did, probably like a rylage, like winter rye, or triticale. I think triticale is a pretty good feed, honestly. But stuff, you know, stuff like that, and if it, you know, it's just something we'd maybe add in a few years. There are a lot of other guys that are they're feeding like corn stalks, like dry, like bedding corn stalks with a lot of times it'll be that wet distillers or a high moisture corn, or you know, a combination of that and like a protein or something like that. And that works because you got the concentrates in there, and then you add the fiber, and that's, you know, and that's how that works. Well, I've talked long enough, and thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.